Growing up with the Geometry Dash community, we have seen many players and creators rise in popularity. But at the same time, we have seen many of them leave without a trace, in which we're left to question, where did they go? In this video, we'll be looking at some of the most famous Geometry Dash players that have disappeared. I hope you all enjoy. FunnyGame was a creator that started during the early ages of Geometry Dash. Starting back in 2014, his rise to fame began early, when he released a level titled Crazy Bolt. It was one of the earliest levels in the game that had a specific theme within it, and when the level was released, he immediately started getting attraction. During the first year of FunnyGame's spree of level publishing, the community recognized his creativity along the way. For example, his level Revolution was titled by many as the best level in the game. And honestly, when I played this back in the day, I said the exact same thing. The atmosphere of the level just stood out as pure perfection, and he wouldn't stop from there. He'd release level after level after level for years. He was the king of Geometry Dash originality, until he suddenly stopped. Well, it's not as instantaneous as I made it look. It's just that the community had a different feeling about his levels when the 2.0 update was released, primarily because there were many new creators rising in the game, and FunnyGame just couldn't compete with other players that wanted to learn more about the 2.0 mechanics, which eventually led to FunnyGame's levels becoming more out of date than modern, and with that, his levels started to change. It didn't feel like levels he made. It felt off in a way we couldn't really explain. And this was primarily because he really did go away, but not entirely. He allegedly ended up giving his account to someone else, who was being taught by FunnyGame himself on how to create levels. Now, you might be wondering, why? Why did he leave? Well, according to YouTuber Samifying, he believes FunnyGame left due to demotivation and his incapability to focus on the community due to him being very busy with his real-life job, which explains why he gave his account to someone else and left the Geometry Dash community for good. His last publicly known words was in the Geometry Dash 10-year anniversary video, when he was asked, "What is your greatest accomplishment in the game?" To which he said, "It's too much to be called an achievement. I just listened to music and made what I wanted to express." FunnyGame's reign of creativity will never be forgotten in the game's history, but at the same time, one of the best players in the early years of Geometry Dash boomed in popularity because of an infamous level. It is now 2015. Players are playing casually on their mobile devices or the recently released launch on Steam. On January 17th, players were met with one of the most famous levels in Geometry Dash history that transformed the community and still does to this very day. The level is none other than 9 Circles. Back then, this level was praised for its semi-epileptic unique atmosphere, which to this day has garnered a total of 54 million plays. Who was this level's creator? Well, it was a player named Zobros, who was also one of the best players in the game at the time. His rise to fame began instantly after the release of 9 Circles, and with that, he made more levels such as Acropolis, Ultimate Demon Mix, and Ado. These were some of the hardest levels back in the 1.9 update, and as that update was coming to a close, the 2.0 update emerged, which was also the same time that Zobros' levels changed. When the 2.0 update was released, Zobros started making levels that were essentially out of fun and jokes, which, don't get me wrong, it's kind of funny to see what he was posting. But one level stood out as just completely crazy. Let me show you 1 second of it. Yeah, I don't know what he was on when he made that. The level's name is Love Baba, and to everyone's surprise, it was actually rated, even though this section was quite literally half of the level. According to Zobros, Love Baba was intentionally supposed to look like that for his own amusement, and after Love Baba, he would upload 4 more levels, with his last one titled I'm not even gonna try to say that, which again looked absolutely crazy. But after that, he didn't upload any more levels. Nobody knew where he was until he uploaded a video on his channel, announcing that he can't take Geometry Dash seriously anymore, and that he wants to focus on other content from now on. The last public sighting of Zobros was when he streamed on his new Twitch account, but he hasn't been live for 9 months since. Zobros' legacy will remain as an icon for the Geometry Dash community, not only from his iconic levels, but from just how skilled he was for his time, similar to our next player, except his legacy was shut down after someone had exposed him. Neptune was one of Geometry Dash's earliest iconic players, and similar to Zobros, he was known for his levels and his skill in the game. He was titled as the player who made remixes of RobTop's main levels, from Stereo of Madness all the way to Theory of Everything 2, which inspired RobTop himself to create 4 remix map packs, using 12 of Neptune's levels. He was also known for releasing very hard levels at the time, such as Deadly Clubstep, Doomsday 2, and Acropolis. Back in the day, only a small percentage of the community were able to complete them, which showed just how much of a good player Neptune really was. That was until he released a video of his completion of Necropolis, that eventually shut his reputation off for good. On September 29th of 2014, Neptune released a video on his verification of Necropolis, which at the time was one of the hardest levels ever verified. Many people were praising Neptune for his accomplishment, while a few were skeptical of his true skill. So for months, players started accusing him of hacking his levels, but nobody was able to put the nail on the coffin if he was really cheating. However, on June 5th of 2015, YouTuber Axum uploaded a video exposing Neptune's completions once and for all. According to Axum, he discovered that Neptune had been splicing his completions using starting positions. His evidence was that when Neptune had gone through a portal within the completion video, he found something unusual. Instead of a saw moving clockwise, he found a few that had been moving counterclockwise, which never happens in a real run. So with that evidence being released, Neptune did what most other cheaters usually do, and left without a statement of defense or any responsibility taken. He didn't talk to anybody about the situation, and nobody knew where he went. This isn't 100% confirmed, but his last publicly known words may have been a comment that he made on his profile, saying, "I'm not good at 2.1 editor," which was around 7 years ago. Even though Neptune hacked his completions, most people still wanted him to make levels for the community. But since he hadn't built anything after the remix of Theory of Everything 2, it's unlikely he'd ever come back. But our next player left the community as a whole, and there isn't much to mention about him, as he gave 0 whereabouts. nSwish was arguably the best Geometry Dash player back in 2020. His skill was unmatched by any other player in the game. He was mostly known for working his way up to verify the Golden, and his unbelievable achievement of completing the entire main list only 5 months later. And 4 months after that, he won the title as the best player in the 2020 GD Awards by a huge margin. And while there are many things to say about how much of a positive influence he had for all of us, there are a few things that make us question his reliability. You see, shortly after he beat the entire main list, nSwish mysteriously disappeared for about a year, returning to the game to complete more top levels such as Hard Machine. But again, he disappeared shortly after, but this time he was not coming back. So why did he leave exactly? Well, there are 2 different outcomes. 9 months ago, there was news spreading like wildfire when a couple players had accused nSwish of cheating, but many others defended nSwish of any wrongdoing. But what's weird is that after these accusations went public, nSwish deleted all sorts of social media and left the Geometry Dash community as a whole. And while that would normally make sense if he was guilty, people actually couldn't find anything linking towards his exposal. When nSwish disappeared for the second time, he made a public statement in his GD profile saying one word: cheated, which was removed shortly after. Many people believed someone had hacked his account and posted that, and as it turns out, they were right. nSwish was hacked, but there was still no sign of him coming back, as nobody knew where he was. That was until nSwish had released a statement, which unfortunately was removed at some point. Luckily, YouTuber GodTierGD has the exact quote from nSwish, reading, "Hi guys, I did not cheat in the game or cheat on my wife, lol. I'm doing fine by the way. Deleting everything was a personal choice that I stand by." nSwish's reputation remains safe to this day, and while we will probably never know why he left, we can at least hope he is okay in his personal life, and that he can be happy with what he achieved. However, our next player was well respected amongst everyone, who didn't have much happiness from their own creations. DORABAE was an early-day Geometry Dash creator, who was known for his DORABAE Basic series. Some levels had millions of plays, while others had more than 10 million. He never really had a bad reputation in the community, as most people loved his work. But while mostly everyone supported and loved his levels, DORABAE didn't feel the same with what he uploaded, which started a big wave of demotivation for himself. 8 years ago, DORABAE stopped making levels entirely, without giving any notice or explanation for his fans to hear. The community questioned where he was, but nothing was found until 4 years later, when someone had hacked his account. Now, DORABAE had been hacked a few times before, but this one was different, because shortly after his hacking situation was resolved, DORABAE came back in the most unsatisfying fashion. He left 3 messages in his GD profile, saying, "Sometimes someone hacks my account, so people misunderstand that I came back. But I stopped playing GD because I lost interest, and I don't think I'm a good creator. Sorry for everyone who likes me." It's upsetting to see DORABAE had lost interest, and to see him not seeing himself as a creator. While most of us would disagree by saying he left an amazing mark for everyone that will remain in Geometry Dash history forever. But what are your thoughts about these 5 players? Put them in the comments below. And if this video gets 2,000 likes, I'll happily make another video mentioning other players. If you enjoyed it, subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my videos. Thank you all for watching, and Ikio Salino Salsalino Sarasiro Aluminos Grupriovitriolic.